How bad could Brax have crashed down on it? Damn, this got 50K views already in 19 hours?
2138. We actually have flying cars and somehow haven't all blown up due to dick measuring.
Do you really have to watch? I mean, I'm interested because I think I'm one of the few other gacha CCs that have tried Etheria and then didn't stick with it. I think a lot of the gacha CCs right now are like on it, and I'm like, I just don't see it, you know? I just don't see the game being a good long-term investment of my time for me personally, just because I didn't like it that much.
Elon Musk's Catgirl experiment ended years ago, and now we live alongside them. Life is strange, but life is good. You open up your invisible phone and browse the App Store.
I mean, those are that are getting paid to play it.
You download the first thing on the list,
a bunch of CCs were paid for sponsor. Do you really think the games are passively paying them income like behind the scenes every day to keep playing it? No, they're fucking not. This is not how that works, okay? They would have to literally put hashtag out in their title if that was happening, or else the fucking, you know, the FTC would be on their ass. Some have sponsors lined up after, to be honest, so people believing that is fair, I guess. Yes, but like, I think most people who are sponsored, during their sponsors, if they're saying certain things, you know, like obviously they're under sponsorship, so they have to, or like they might need to say certain things. But like, I think after their sponsors are done, like, I think most people, whatever they're saying is probably what they actually think.
This game looked like it was made in 2012. Mobile games have improved every single year. At least some of them have. Really does feel like they're getting higher quality all the time, and that quality of life improves with every new iteration. The level of story writing, storytelling, game mechanics, and overall design just
oh my god, Art, that's
Enfield,
please come out already.
That only applies to some games, apparently, because somehow Etheria Restart took everything that we felt good about in new mobile gaming and set us back 10 years. If you don't know what it is, Etheria Restart is a PvP-enabled anime gacha game.
That's crazy slander. Oh, shit. Volume up? Oh, you guys can't hear? Damn, okay, I'll raise it higher.
Released in early June 2025, and its goal was to be a unique addition to the anime gaming space, while also being the first major modern 3D PvP gacha game. For a lot of people, gacha with PvP is a red flag, but for some, it's a green light straight into...
Is it the first 3D major? I guess Epic 7 isn't 3D. It might, maybe, I guess it depends on what you call major. That's the difference maker, major.
Flag, yeah. But for some, it's a green light straight into a casino. Funny enough,
true. AFK Journey is
like
3D.
The focus of Etheria,
and it's PvP.
I probably wouldn't have disliked it so much after investing 30 hours. PvP and gacha is ultimately about who spends the most money, and I love my tax write-off. But the more I write the script and reflect on my time playing, the more I realize how up this game is. From poor game design to using AI art to save a buck, Etheria Restart is full of problems that nobody's talking about because they're all sponsored.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Nobody is talking about because they're all sponsored.
Oh, shit.
Yo, holy fuck. Damn, Brax. Okay. Jeez. Oof.
Here we go again.
When I played, I decided to stay completely free to play because when I played the beta, I wasn't impressed with the gameplay loop, and even though you'd get your money back and more from the rebate, knowing my luck, I'd have better chances on a reroll than by spending $200.
By the way, I got an ad for Etheria Restart that I swear used an AI song.
Hours.
You know what I saw? Fobbit sent me this. Oh no. Anyways.
See, Etheria gave out quite a few polls, but it has this huge problem that's present in some other gacha games where the best characters from the standard character pool are rarer than the worst characters. It's the sort of scummy thing that some gacha developers do to make sure that you'll be willing to spend more money to compete in PvP or on some kind of leaderboard. And the reason it works is because most people don't know that the rarer ones are much better until it's too late for you to actually re-roll. Remember, it's not the majority of players who are watching YouTube and reading guides on games. Most people are going into Etheria without an idea of what characters they actually want to pull for. But to make matters worse, the rarer standard units, called LD units, have their own separate banner that guarantees them at 3 times the price per pull. This is another method that XD, Etheria's developers, used to trick you into thinking that the game is free-to-play friendly, because the LD units can be earned without the 3 times price banner. But realistically, your odds of getting them are once per 4 SS SSRs, which have a 1% drop chance, assuming you don't go to pity. If we assume you get super lucky and get one every 40 pulls, you'd need to do 160 pulls per LD unit, which, considering how many units there are in this game, your odds of hitting the ones that you want are significantly lower. It does have 100% rate up on the limited character banners, but those aren't always the units you need.
Why is he using beat sauce background music?
Oh, well, Brax, this is a gacha game. Obviously, you want to go for specific characters on your reroll, and you are 100% right. Not all SSRs and not all LD units are created equal, because if you don't have Lily, the game is basically fucking unplayable. Can you play it? Sure. Do you enjoy having—
Is that actually true, Chad? Is Lily that important? Like, obviously I rolled till I got Lily, but like, is the game like that miserable without her? She makes it easy. Yes, it feels much worse without her.
Lily off standard as F2P.
Now, obviously, I mean the fucking Etheria restart Lily, not my fucking girlfriend, idiots.
Seems
your balls hooked up to a car battery? Probably. Welcome to Etheria Reroll. You're going to be here trying to get Lily for the next 4 days, because the difference between accounts that had cleared hide content by day 3 and the accounts that hadn't was that all of the ones who had cleared had Lily. Lily has a speed increase, a crit damage increase, an action advance, and a cooldown reset. This is like if Bronya gave you an action forward in HSR 1.0, instantly cleared MOC 12, handed you the keys to a Porsche, and sucked your— And Lily isn't the only unit that this game requires you to have to be able to keep up, because they designed the PvE to actually be hard, which honestly isn't that big of a deal if you're willing to learn, except for the fact that some bosses basically require you to build specific characters. And in order to do that, you have to log in 3 times a day for 14 business days to use your stamina and not overcap. And in fact, by then, your characters probably still wouldn't even be maxed, because it takes so goddamn long to level them to max, and then ascend them to give them another star and level them to max again, and then ascend them again to give them another star, and— This game's grind is a disaster. This game has so much grinding to it that the club would be jealous.
Am I crazy? I feel like some of the things he's saying could totally be applicable to Epic 7 back in the day.
First off,
and even kind of today probably too in some way. A lot of things he's saying reminds me of Epic 7, which is like, so is it an Etheria restart problem, or is it just turn-based PvP game problem?
Shells, which are basically weapons with RNG sets. Then you have modules, which are gear with RNG stats and RNG sets. Then you have prowess, which is your character's skill levels that takes not only specific
Epic 7
missions,
is a
but
10-year-old
also
gacha?
incredibly rare resources that you have very—
But like low-key Etheria restart do be looking like a 10-year-old gacha to me. So that's like one of the main reasons I didn't want to invest too much into Etheria restart, because I look at the game, it just like doesn't look modern to me. It looks a little dated, you know?
Limited amounts of, and the character's level and ascension, which
this is why I specifically said I have no issue with the game itself. My only gripe with the game is just like visuals. I just feel like the game looks old, and like, you know, I like shiny stuff like Arknight's Enfield, like Wuthering Waves, like ZZZ, you know? If it looks old, I'm like, I might as well go play Tower of Fantasy.
Be farmed for, but at very slow rates, and once you max out the character's level, you have to ascend them to make them even stronger, and those resources are ridiculously limited as well. Problem is that it takes many resources and so much time to level a character, their shell,
no,
their
I
prowesses,
didn't!
and their
What are you
modules,
saying?
that free-to-play players are better off going to college for 4 years and getting a job to swipe instead. And not only does it take a ridiculous amount of time and stamina to level characters, it also takes a ridiculous amount of time to level your account as well. Each 10 stamina you spend is 10 experience, so it's basically a level or 2 a day after you get somewhat into the game, and less than a level a day at higher level. If you use premium currency, you can refill stamina up to 10 times a day though, which will put you literally 3 to 4 days ahead every single day, which massively helps you get through the story-locked content and get to PvP faster. We all thought that—
yeah, but like, you know, it's like, you know, like, did anybody delude themselves into thinking a PvP turn-based game wasn't going to be pay to win in some way? Like, yeah, I mean, all of them are, right? Like,
this was going to be a PvP focused game with PvE in it, and somehow the devs made it a PvE game where you can—
like, I think being able to max refill in like Wuthering Waves or Genshin or ZZZ or stuff like that, it's fine. Who the fuck cares? There's no PvP, right? Like Billy Bob Joe Turner next door is being 2 days ahead of you, right? Because he got to refill more. Doesn't fucking matter. to your experience because you guys don't interact. But like in the PvP games, you do. That's why it's like any PvP game that has stuff like this is just gonna be pay to win. You know, it's obvious. So
only get to the PvP if you survive 4 hours of shitty Honkai Impact 3rd style missions. At the beginning of the game, you're required to do the story, which ultimately isn't that big of a deal. But I would be lying to you if the game PvP if you survive 4 hours of shitty Honkai Impact 3rd style mission.
All right, Brax, have you played Honkai Impact 3rd? Listen. What's with the what's the Honkai Impact 3rd fucking slander for, huh?
At the beginning of the game, you're required to do the story, which
to be fair, the game market itself is not pay to win.
I would be lying to you.
Okay, but like genuinely, is there a single game out there the developers are like, all right, we're gonna market ourselves as pay to win as fuck. We're gonna tell free to plays to eat shit. Like, no duh, every developer is gonna market themselves as like, we're free to play friendly. We're not that pay to win. Like, you know, nobody's gonna do that. So.
To you if I didn't say that was one of the most frustrating experiences
they generally
I've ever
don't say anything. Well, yeah, so yeah, you're right. They could either go the route of not saying anything, or they could go the route of trying to say like it's not that bad, right? But like both can occur.
It's not that the story is hard, it's that the story missions are a chore. It feels like you're in a tiny little box and you have to go from one side to the other, and you can't.
Bro, they literally said
and
dupes don't matter in
enemy,
PvP, but then people found out it does, and they admitted it. Wait, you're actually right. Back when I started Etheria Restart, or was looking into Etheria Restart, wasn't one of the things I said that it's a turn-based PvP game, so it's going to be pay to win as fuck. And then people in my chat, before it came out, were like, no, Fob, dupes don't matter in PvP. They said it. What happened? Huh? I remember this. I remember this conversation. Before I got sponsored by Etheria Restart, before it came out, I specifically asked Twitch chat, like, you know, isn't it going to be super pay to win because you could just get more copies and then be stronger in PvP? And then chat said, no, they said it's not. So, like, what happened? What happened with that? Huh? Did you guys just lie? They changed it? Genuine question. Did they actually change it? Or did some idiots read something, spread misinformation, and the community ran with it thinking it was the truth? Nowadays, that happens a lot. So, like, I need to know, did the devs say this? Or did some, like, random motherfucker spread this out and everybody ran with it?
At
Jenna
least in
also said
E7
dupes don't matter in
the
PvP.
rank you need to get the seasonal skins in like a month completely F2P really innocent.
Yeah, but also Epic 7's the oldest fuck game, bro. I feel like Epic, like, not being mean to Epic 7, I don't think Epic 7 gets that many new fucking players. I think most of the people that are around or have been around for fucking forever, you know? Once in a while, they get, like, a couple extra, like, maybe due to a collab or something. But I think most of Epic 7's player base are long-term fucking free-to-plays, and they've been there forever, so they have characters that are pretty much stacked for eons and eons, and they have gear for every fucking set under the goddamn sun, right? So I don't know if it's, like, that comparable. If you've seen the CC streaming, those devs are so cool. Wow, they also play Gacha. I have no idea. You made a Kick account? Yeah, I did. Because people that were sponsored by them kept repeating that line. The devs themselves didn't say it, but they didn't correct the misinformation either. So the devs didn't say it. You know, maybe some CC said it. At the end of the day, I think as long as the devs didn't say it, then it's not like you can't blame the devs. I mean, I don't know. I guess it should be on the devs to fucking go out of their way to correct misinformation, but what if they, you know, just like, you know, what if in their mind is like, you know, if we don't talk about it, maybe it just like slides along and then just leads to a better launch, or they probably, no, they said it. They literally put out an apology notice afterwards that it was miscommunication. You got a link for that? I only watch our sponsor streams on it though, so I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really watched a lot of Etheria content, so I don't really know. If they don't correct the misinfo, it becomes true like the Genshin Killer thing. Maybe. Hey, how about this, chat? I won't say anything too much on Etheria. I need to do a little research. I think I'll ask a couple people, right, that I know are into Etheria, like Poke, Jenna, and see what the fuck is actually going on. Because low-key, I have zero interest in Etheria. I haven't been paying attention at all to anything that's been going on around it. I really don't care. I'm kind of just waiting for Arknight's Enfield. Yeah, that's kind of my life right now. They are sponsored. Chat, are you fucking stupid? Do you think? Okay, so you're telling me if I go into my DMs right now, it's like, hey, Jenna, Poke, trying to get a little info on Etheria Restart. I want to hear your take on it. They're like, all right, Fob, here we go. I got to start this message with hashtag ad. I got to let you know. I'm like, bro, they're not fucking sponsored in my DMs, okay? They're sponsored for their streams, all right? Like, shut the fuck up. You act like every time they talk to another human being, they need to fucking put a disclaimer that they're hashtag ad. All right?
Session. If you're
they will be more positive to the devs. I like to believe, whether you guys like Mr. Poke or Genocide, I think their takes generally are not too ridiculous and not too shield-pilled. Except maybe HSR for Poke, all right? I think things outside of HSR, it might be, like, fine for Poke. So, like, you know? Jenna is, okay, and Jenna, you know, wizardry, besides wizardry, I think anything besides wizardry, it should be fine. You know, so, like, as long as I don't ask Mr. Poke about HSR and Jenna about wizardry, we should be okay. So I think that's fine, you know? People just echo what Saint and Tectone think. I have no idea what they've talked about either, so I don't know anything. The fact that you just had to make this statement says they are biased from their takes. No, that's literally, I was just making a joke because everybody jokes that Mr. Poke is a Giga Hoyo shill and that Genocide is the #1 wizardry shill in the world, so it's called a joke, okay? It's not an actual disclaimer, all right? Even you say that sponsors build favor with you? No, it's more like I try to build favor with these sponsors that of games that I'm interested in, right? Let me ask you this, right? I get sponsored by Wuwa every patch. Do you think they're building favor with me by asking me to come to the first anniversary event and cast and play, actively participate in their event unpaid? Like, how is that building favor with me, bro? That's just pissing me off. Like, I'm doing unpaid labor. That is the opposite of building favor with me, all right? Like, that is not the same thing. We'll be seeing you on LSF over. Okay. Doro and Bran went from Hoyo Shields to Wuwa Shield. The transformation has been wild. Have they, though? I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure they both still really like Genshin, so I don't think that's true. Didn't you say it was building a nice rep with them? Yes, I like to create a relationship with these people, but, like, you know, at the end of the day, at a certain point, I gotta be like, okay, you know, like, that enough is enough. Time to, you know, time to cough up a little bit. I see that Wuwa revenue report. Like, y'all making good money. Like, what's going on? Why am I, you know, so.
Enjoyer, I'm sure it's fine, but the year is 2025. Why is the story being told like our phones are Nokia bricks? Also, in order to access PvP, you have to do the story up to a certain point. In fact, to access and move forward with any part of the game, you're required to do the story. The one saving grace is that there is a skip button for people who don't care, but because the story is level gated, there's a lot of times where you just can't play the game beyond doing daily auto farm missions unless you spend your premium currency on refills of stamina. On the contrary to that, when you level up, you get more stamina that you have to spend immediately or you'll overcap. So sometimes you're forced not to play the game, and other times you're forced to play the game. And all of this is just on the quest to get to a high enough level to be able to farm the endgame gear so that way you can play the PvP. How long does it take to get to endgame farming and actually compete in PvP as a free-to-play player who's not wasting their premium currency? Drum roll, please. 30 to 60 days.
Jesus Christ. What?
You have to play through this auto farm slop for 1 to 2 months just to be able to enjoy endgame PvP. And enjoy is
the game is bad, but this video is full of
misinfo. If
misinfo.
you're free to play,
that's why I said I wasn't going to make any judgments
right
because
units,
I need
you're
to, like,
going to struggle with PvE farming and PvP. This game's progression is so incredibly slow that it feels terrible to try and level up. It feels like your characters make no progress daily. The pacing is so poor that for most people, the only way you're going to enjoy this game is by spending. I mean, this is literally the gameplay for almost 2 months. You would genuinely,
there's no way it takes that long to fucking progress your account.
Only have a better time watching paint dry and eating the paint chips off the wall afterwards. And honestly, I was gonna leave the video mostly at that, just being, you know, kind of pay to win and not very fun in the PvE. But then the devs decided to suicide their game. Here's the thing, they decided to make a pretty good overall PvP system, with different game modes like an offline defense mode and a real-time arena. They even have private matches and a system made for casting tournaments. It's honestly super impressive how much work they put into it and how well it functions. Duplicates of characters still do give bonus stats, and your units matter just as much as your gear, but that's about what you'd expect from a gacha game. And for sure, the best part of Etheria Restart is how good the PvP system is, despite its flaws. The weird part, though, is that they've been nerfing units that people spent weeks worth of resources on. The trash! Because, get this, the boss that's meant to be farmed is being farmed too easily. And no, I'm not joking. Within 2 weeks of this game being released, they felt like people...
Yeah, I heard about this. This is the S. Sanya, right? The Shadow Sanya thing. Did they run it back, or what did they do? They gave a reset event. Okay. I mean, I feel like that's a no-brainer. I feel like in any game, if you do nerfs, like, you definitely have to give a full, like, resource reset thing, but...
People were farming the game too easily.
She wasn't nerfed. Some bosses got immunity. Oh, okay. Okay, she's still broken after nerfs for PvE, though? Well, I mean, if she's... I think that's a no-brainer. If she's a dot character, especially if she's... If she works the way I understand the dots in some turn-based works, where it's like percentage max HP, then I feel like it was gonna, like, always be broken, right? They didn't give reset at first, only after outrage. Oh. I think the views of the video highly depends on the viewer itself rather than if it's misinfo or not, because a lot of people agree in his comments on the video. But there are some that disagree, though they're mainly shills. Each dot is 4% max HP. Yeah, like, it reminds me of playing Bleed into Wyvern in what's it called? In Epic 7, right? Where it's like... You know, is Bleed actually good in fucking PvP? Probably not, but, like, you know, it's, like, pretty good into, like, killing Wyvern a billion years ago.
They nerfed a character that people spent all of that time investing in. Like, I just don't get the thought process there. The whole point of the gacha game is for you to not play the game that much. Like,
okay, listen, that's like when I originally played Epic 7 a lot, was Wyvern 10 was the max, okay? Like, fuck you guys.
Reason to stop you from playing all the time. So I don't really understand why it would be a problem that people are clearing the content that they're supposed to be clearing using a strategy that's completely fair and within the rules of the game.
Me waiting for Fob to play Dino Game? Yo! Read fucking IL chat, you motherfuckers.
To PvE is a huge mistake for a game with PvP in it. Naturally, players weren't too happy with the decision. After all, what sense does it make to make PvE farming harder in a gacha game? And to add insult to injury, XD didn't even offer to refund players their invested resources until players began to criticize them for it. As mentioned 30 times in this video already, it takes a ridiculous amount of resources to level a character in that game. It's like they don't even play their own game. I don't know what they're thinking. At this point, if recent events are anything to go off of, then Etheria Restart is more cooked than the chicken I had for dinner because I'm terrified of food poisoning. Speaking of cooked, though, it gets even worse for Etheria because genuinely, what the fuck is this? Yeah, so basically, to save a couple bucks and not hire real artists, XD used generative AI to create their character splash arts.
Oh, boy.
Now, sure, I can understand the argument that it's XD's game and they can do what they want with their own property, but what I'm wondering is, if this company has millions of dollars to spend on marketing and made back millions more dollars in the first week of the game, how is it that they couldn't afford to throw $10,000 at an actual artist to make their splash arts and not have huge glaring errors in them? That kind of laziness gives me the impression that XD doesn't actually care
only $5
about
for you, that's
the
like
game good at all,
for me,
and that they're just in on the gacha rug pull meta developed over the past few years. Don't get me wrong, it looks better than Epic 7 by far, but this game still feels like it's so far behind every other new gacha game. With its story missions, its archaically and needlessly confusing UI, and its extra gacha rarity mentality. The game is highly unit dependent, resources are incredibly scarce, the story gameplay isn't engaging, and it takes you forever to even start farming gear for PvP, in which case you're already behind everyone who swiped if you're free to play. And I haven't even spoken about the monetary advantages yet. There are so many.
Yeah, but like, are there actual people out there that think there's gonna ever be a PvP turn-based gacha game where free-to-plays are ever like at the same fucking power levels as whales? That's just not gonna happen, like, ever. You have to understand, this is how it works in turn-based PvP games. This is how you win as a free-to-play, right? So if we got no, which is why you don't play if you're free-to-play, Lamont. No, that's not true. Because this is what you have, right? Here we go. Let's say this is power, and this is time played. We're going to go green is whale. I just spelled whale like whales in fucking... Okay. And then this is free to play. So here we go. Whales, very short time. Boom. Fucking, they're already like... They honestly, they don't even start at 0. They start fucking up here immediately. And, you know, can shoot up. Free to plays... They have to fucking stay down here and then slowly progress up, right? And it might take them this long to get to where whales are. But here's the thing. A lot of whales are like me. Because they spend so much money, they run out of things to fucking do. And then they fucking quit. So their power goes up, 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 up. And then they plateau here, right? Because they quit. But free-to-plays, they keep playing, keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. And then this is how free-to-plays beat whales. You have to invest your entire life. You must make this game your job. And if you make this game your job, you will eventually beat whales, because whales will get bored and then take breaks. And even if they come back and whale, it won't catch up to them, especially in PvP turn-based games, because gear is a big thing. Sets, new set, etc. And if you're a free-to-play who never quit because you have no fucking life and you're a loser, then you have all that gear ahead of these whales. And unless these whales giga swipe on like equipment packs or something, and even then RNG isn't on their side because you can't just pay for RNG, right? They're still not going to catch up. This is what free-to-plays need to play for. The long con, out existing the whales. The only downside to this is if you run into the whale that is equally a fucking no-life loser as you, then they just keep climbing forever, and you can never catch up. Because that whale, he's not quitting, and he's gonna always be ahead of you no matter what. And those people you'll never beat as a free-to-play. But you can always beat free-to-plays as a whale if you just outlast them. A lot of people in Epic 7 in my community are free-to-plays. I think their accounts are like 10 times better than mine. And I've dumped thousands of dollars into the game. And it's because I fucking quit Epic 7 about 50 times, all right? Same thing with Nikke. Nikke? Bro, do you know how much money I put into Nikke? My sync level is like fucking 350, okay? Bro, 350 sync level for a motherfucker who spent over probably like $8,000 in the game is sad. Like, free-to-plays are like at sync 420 or some shit, okay? Like, this is fucking depressing, all right? I'm weaker than free-to-plays. Like, legitimately, okay? And I've spent way more money. And it's because I just didn't play long enough. So that's how you beat whales in these PvP gacha games, right? Nikke's not really PvP. It's sort of, I mean, solar rate, but, like, not really, right? So, it does have PvP, but who the fuck actually cares about, like, arena and that shit? Anyways, right? You just outlast the whales. That's the play. But, like, I don't think you should ever go into these gacha games expecting you as a free-to-play to unironically be at the same pace as a whale. It's just not going to happen. Right?
Many low spender packs to try and get you to spend, and if you do spend, the advantage
That's not how you beat whales, that's how you beat FOB. No, because I mean, are you under the assumption that a lot of whales are like different from me? I think there are a lot of whales that are very similar to me, where they do big fast cash injection into a game, enjoy it for like a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then they get burnt out and they're done. A lot of whales are like that, chat. You'd be surprised. A lot of whales are like that. Now, there are also a lot of whales that play for a long fucking time and never quit. But there are also a lot of whales who go in and leave. Whales can get shit on in camping arena if they're clueless. I mean, obviously, but I think being clueless or not clueless also has to do with how I guess, involved you are with the game or actively following the game, right? If you're just a casual whale, then you could still get shit on by a hardcore free-to-play, right? But at this point in his vid, I don't think free-to-play versus whale is Brax's point, but rather just how awful the general experience is. Yeah, but, like, I think this is a thing that I hear a lot around Etheria Restart, where, like, a lot of people thought this game was going to be super free-to-play friendly, which is like, I don't get how anybody ever sees a PvP turn-based gacha game and thinks it's free-to-play friendly. I don't know, man. It just don't make no sense. Gacha PvP is always pay to win, man.
Is absolutely disgusting. From just having more SSRs to actually leveling them and progressing them further faster.
Where did you say your Carno was?
Is incredibly pay to win, as much as they don't want you to believe it.
Just go to West Rail
ultimately,
Access.
At the end of the day, I gave up after 30 hours. Not because of the pay to win, not because the game was too hard or anything like that, but because it just wasn't fun. At least not for me. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who enjoy Etheria Restart, and it is 100% free to try it, so if you want to give it a go, go for it. But I can't in good faith recommend this game to anyone, because at the moment, the progression systems are poorly developed, the gameplay doesn't feel that engaging unless you're in PvP, and even when you're there, it's so pay to win favored that you probably would be better off just finding another game to play. I would rather play League. I have 12 hours.
Ooh, okay, that's a bit. All right, I think he's going a little far there. Okay, a lot of CCs during the beta said that dupes don't work in PvP. Yeah, I feel like that's just inaccurate, right?
Played in 10 years of having an account. I fucking hate that game. There is one thing that this game does extremely well, though, and that's unions. If you have a group of friends that you love to play with, unions provide a way for you guys to support each other better than your parents did. But I'm gonna be honest, that's about it. Let me know if you like this video or if you want me to go f myself. I'll see you guys later.
What? Okay, what happened to Brax, bro? I feel like he's a little on edge. Oh no. Damn, what's going on? Regarding the dupes, let me see this. All right. He snapped. Yeah, bro's lost it a little bit. Community update addressing dupe system concerns in RTA. Hello everyone. Thank you for voicing your concerns regarding dupes and their impact on RTA gameplay. Rest assured that all your feedback is carefully collected and shared with the rest of the Etheria team. We recognize there has been significant confusion regarding how the dupe system affects RTA competition. While our understanding was that dupes would provide modest advantages without determining match outcomes, the messaging around this feature clearly wasn't as transparent as it should have been. Many players, especially those who joined during the latest beta, understood free-to-play friendly to mean dupes would have no impact whatsoever in RTA. This misunderstanding spread through content creator and community channels, and we should have addressed it more proactively. For this, we sincerely apologize. Who was it? The support and enthusiasm throughout the beta has been truly remarkable. I'm gonna be honest, chat. Are the dupes, like, insane? Like, I remember when I played Etheria, the dupes looked like dog shit. The dupes that I saw, like, when looking through what the copies gave, I was like, this is like, I mean, it's nice, but it's like nothing crazy, right? Minimal, really? Yeah, but I guess in a PvP turn-based game, that, like, little bit can be the difference maker. So, like, at the end of the day, that's still very fucking pay to win. The last dupe is insane? Oh, okay. 10% damage and 10% less damage taken. Crit, attack, HP, and defense are kind of whatever. In an alternate timeline, Brax got Lily on his first account and is commentating the weekly tournaments. Wait. Did he ever get sponsored for, Etheria, chat? Yes, he did. Ooh. What the fuck? Okay. I mean, I feel like that's, like, kind of proof enough that, like, you can be sponsored by something and still, you know, perfectly fair takes on something, or at least, like, you know, not biased takes. You know, like all the people that were saying earlier that I can't talk to Poke or Genazad about it is because they've gotten sponsored by the game. It's like, okay, bro. I mean, by that logic, why did Brax make this video? You guys said he got sponsored too. So for beta, not for launch, he only got a code for launch. I mean, I still think that's still I mean, you know, like I didn't get no fucking code. If you talk shit about sponsors, does that make it harder to get sponsored again? Oh, it depends if they hear it or not. If they don't hear you talk shit, then you can get away with it. Jenna reacted to this vid and was fair. What was Jenna's reaction to this? Did he say, like, most of the things he said were, like, I mean, they were pretty fair? I don't, like I said, I don't play Etheria actively, so I can't really have, like, a crazy take on it, so. Tectone quit this game after the game view-bot his video. Wait, they view-botted his video? Wait, what do you mean by they view-botted his video? They got his more Tectone vid to 400K. Oh my god, it has 783,000 views with 52 comments with 300 likes. Yeah, nah, you might be onto something. I think Etheria Restart might have done that. Did Tectone talk about this, or like is this like does he like confirm it, or is it just yes he did? Oh shit, yeah, this is I think it's a little sketch when the developers are willing to do things like this. Like, don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly believe certain games have been already exposed to having, like, boosted, like, Twitch numbers for, like, certain categories, right? Like, I forget which game specifically got caught doing this. Literally, they got caught.
You're
I'm not talking about Hoyo.
There
was a game that literally got caught red-handed
Timothy Randy type
not Hoyo games. It was a fucking, I forget what game it was. Didn't they use this vid for the ad? Is that how that works? I don't think that's how that works. No. It is? Oh, okay, so they didn't view bot it. They just used it as an ad. It's probably like how ZZZ did it. Oh. Okay, then I think that's fair. I thought you guys meant like they went out of their way and like view botted his video and like boosted it to like, okay, if they just, yeah, if it was just like, you know, an ad thing, then I think that's fine. Is it fair? I don't know if it's something to do with fairness or not, but it's just the way YouTube, I think, does it mechanical, or like it's the way YouTube has those videos set up, where like if you set a video to be an ad, it can just count towards the view count. So it's more like it's like kind of how like Fextra Life used to be able to just fucking embed their streams, Twitch streams, into their fucking Wikipedia and print 10K viewers out of nowhere. It's just a mechanic. Developers behind YouTube do something about it, or Twitch do something about it. That'll never change. So yeah, it's not like against the rules or anything, right? Ellen Video has 400K likes though. Well, I think that's unfair. Tectone's clip channel versus Zenless Zone Zero's official channel. Like, no shit, okay, the video will automatically get a lot of likes as well. You know, like, what are we comparing here, all right? It doesn't make any sense. Like, at least try to make it make sense, all right? Like, we're comparing things that aren't comparable.